Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Yeah Yeah Yeahs LP, Mosquito. Yeah Yeah Yeahs are a New York rock band who made a lot of noise in the early 2000s with a fantastic debut full-length, Fever to Tell. With the band's very straightforward, simple approach, rough guitars, Karen O's screeching vocals, they had characteristics that made them stand out against the Modest Mouses and the Conor Obersts and the White Stripeses and the Strokeses that were helping popularize indie rock music around this time. There were moments that the band would embark upon these very garage rock influenced tunes, but really just sort of noisy and very textured and rough and stripped down. Songs like Black Tongue, for example. But sometimes the band was enjoyed even more for their more tender side, because it seemed like they were just as great at belting out these really awesomely constructed ballads, songs like Maps, or even tracks like Y Control, which seemed to kind of fuse these two sides of the Yeah Yeah Yeahs style. The band has 4 full-length LPs at this point with Mosquito, and as they continued to release albums, they gained more pop appeal, started employing more instrumentation into their tracks. But one thing, even though some fans did fall off in this process, they don't get enough credit for, is that the Yeah Yeah Yeahs were pretty much able to maintain their style and their persona as they went for more mainstream acclaim. They were able to put out tracks with this rock and pop blend that still had a lot of flair, character, and fire to them. However, on this new LP, I was kind of expecting a bit of a return to their grittier side, considering the first single that dropped from this album, Sacrilege. With the distorted vocals on this track, the awesome hook melody, as well as the gigantic gospel chorus that pops in at the end of this track, Sacrilege is easily one of the best and most ambitious singles that Yeah Yeah Yeahs have ever put out. With this track, it seemed like the band's sights were set really high. However, when I ended up giving this album a listen, I didn't really find a lot of tracks following that suit. I found a lot of inconsistency on this LP, unfortunately, like with the song Subway, which comes right after this great opening single. The track just meanders mundanely with this boring vocal melody, and not much happening through the guitars either. The track is very spacious, it's very atmospheric. I would say it's more atmosphere than substance. I think the only interesting thing I found about the track was that it sort of sampled that subway rail click-clack for its rhythm section. There are some other slower tracks on this LP that are great though, like the song Under the Earth, which to me has a fantastic vocal performance from Karen O. She is sultry on this track, and I love the way that they futz with a lot of effects on the guitars throughout this song to really create a subterranean atmosphere on this track. The title track on this thing is one of the more upbeat tracks on the album. It's a garage rock influenced tune, almost as if it were a jungle music garage rock tune, with the way the staccato bass is playing and the drums, the way they have that primal Amazonian vibe to them. And Karen brings some really awesome charisma and energy on this track, but her lyrics definitely leave, I don't know, a little bit to be desired, with the suck your blood and the suck your blood and the mosquito does this and the mosquito does that. I mean, I could appreciate what the band is going for, kind of, but I just feel like they didn't put enough interesting things in the song throughout. By the time I'm done with 1/3 of this track, I feel like I've kind of heard the rest of it. The rest of this LP kind of bounces back and forth between rockers and crooners. The next few tracks on this LP felt kind of safe to me. I mean, just not really all that adventurous in terms of what the Yeah Yeah Yeahs have done already. I think the most interesting track around the middle point of this album was Area 52, which is a hard, noisy garage rocker, but kind of suffers from that one-dimensional characteristic that the title track does. In terms of what you expect from Yeah Yeah Yeahs, I think the most surprising thing, since the opening track on this LP is the Dr. Octagon feature on the song Buried Alive, and while it may be surprising to hear a hip-hop artist come in and contribute a verse to a Yeah Yeah Yeahs song kind of in a bad way, it's not actually Dr. Octagon that makes the song feel so underwhelming. It's actually the very bland guitar playing and chords and Karen O's ad-libs that make the song feel kind of haphazardly written and put together just to have a backdrop for Dr. Octagon to rap over. You know, I don't slag the Yeah Yeah Yeahs for doing something simple on some of these tracks. For sure, simplicity and minimalism plays a very big role on some of the band's earliest and best best work. To me, it's just an idea that's sort of overused on this new LP. There's not a lot of balance. There's just one overly simple song after another. They're not consistently putting out these dazzling ballads or songs like they used to, which definitely makes me prefer an album like It's Blitz over Mosquito. On this LP, you get tracks like Always, which overuse lyrics and doesn't even really have that interesting of a vocal melody. And with the corny synths on this track and the cheesy Casio preset beat, which aren't even really reframed in a way that's interesting, and the overuse of effects just to make this track feel bouncy, like it's got some kind of depth. The song just kind of feels like a B-side that wouldn't have seen the light of day if Mosquito hadn't come out. The last few tracks on this LP are pretty capable. The song Despair, despite the title, the way the song progresses and the guitar chords on this track, they actually feel kind of like a sunrise, like you're rushing toward a hill and the sun is coming up and shining into your face. It's actually pretty beautiful in a lot of ways in its simplicity. And the last track on here, Wedding to the Eyes, is another very sort of quiet, understated, subtle, but beautiful ballad, which is kind of the Yeah Yeah Yeahs forte when it comes to closing out an LP. There were tracks on this LP that I liked a lot, especially Sacrilege. I didn't really find any tracks on here to, you know, over-arc that song in terms of just impressive ideas, performance, and just instrumentation and sound. The other songs on here, while there were some good ones, most of them I would either want to steer clear of or I could just kind of take or leave. I'm feeling a light to decent 5 on this thing. If you've given it a listen, what did you think of it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? What do you think I should review next? And that's it. Anthony Fantano, Yeah Yeah Yeahs, forever.